Hi guys, so this week in What's in the Box, Justin, you've been going through...
Well, I've been joined by Gavin from Relics for a look at the new Orcnar starter. Well, it's not exactly new, it's been out for a while, but the Orcnar starter set. We get a quick look through that.
You've been cheating on me again for another Gavin.
But you're just not enough for me. I'm sorry. I'll make it up to you, I promise. Anyway, right. Warren's joined by Alessio and Andy from Warlord Games to have a look at the new Blitzkrieg set. So it's
for bolt action.
Yeah, bolt action.
Awesome.
1,000 point army in a box.
Nice.
So you're getting mess of troops, a bit of artillery, and even a tank. I think you get a little. You get a little Panzer IV. Such a pretty little tank.
Oh, it's not a Stug.
No, it's not a Stug. No, Warren was a little disappointed, but we did send a demo game out a while ago where he did get a Stug, which got blown up by a bazooka. Anyway, the last one is myself and Carlos. We get the last of our Infinity unboxings that we did together.
Yep.
The Gao-Tarsos, I think is the way you pronounce it. For the
Toha.
Yes,
so
Toha.
This is the orbital drop troop.
Yeah, their jump troop. This guy looks really cool. Awesome. Traditionally sculpted again. And we also get another little peek at some of the studio painted minis. Lovely. Well, my favourite one's still Pantassi Leia. Just having that miniature in my hand, I was so tempted just to knock out Carlos and run. But... yeah, anyway, guys, first up we're going to go for the bolt action unboxing, so without further ado, let's see what's in the box.
Enjoy.
Okay, so I'm joined by Andy and Alessio of Warlord. We're going to have a look at another bolt action product. In this one, we're having a look at the Blitzkrieg German starter army. This is early war Germans, gentlemen.
It is, right.
Yeah. If you want to crack it open there, Andy, and just start talking me through it, we see there's the front of the box, and then inside, a box full of sprues.
It is a box full of sprues.
Yeah.
Before we dispatch the lid, if we look on the actual side of the lid, it gives you a 1,000 point army list. So everything on that list is in this box and can be made. It shows you how to do it.
And is 1,000 points kind of like the standard army level? I know games there's no particular standard, but I suppose if there's tournaments and stuff like that, are they currently 1,000 points?
Well,
or?
yeah, I think 1,000 is roughly a good game that gives you a lot of variety of stuff that you can have, but also forces you to make some hard choices, doesn't it? And
yeah.
I put together an American force. This is my army, the one I'm collecting and play with. And in 1,000 points, especially if you want a tank in there, you have to make choices. You can't have everything. You have to make some really hard choices. While if you play a 500 point game, it would be like a very quick, like a demo thing, like a bit like the things we played ourselves. That's roughly 500 point game. Or a 1,500 point game, it just feels there's a lot of stuff on. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of different. You get the main cannon on the game and on the table, maybe an armored car and the tank, and quite a lot of infantry and teams. So whether it's going to be 1,000, 1,500, the standard, but you're right. There is no standard. We'll see.
There's nothing to stop you guys from actually just putting all your toy soldiers onto a table and playing the games as well. We have most amount of fun.
What?
Four people aside.
I know. I don't
ignoring
understand.
points.
Can you do this?
It's only internet points.
What I want to find out is did Alessio Cavatori paint his own Americans? Did you?
you know me better than asking me that. Of course I haven't. I'm terrible.
Okay, so kicking off, we have a half track.
We do.
I'm sure this half track has an official name,
It
and
is
that is
the 251/1C, Alpha C. So this is
easy to remember that. Yeah.
it gets drummed into you after a while. It's all numbers. We love them. So this is the early war variant of the Hanomag, the generic troop carrier. It carries 12 German infantry, and those squads can be mixed as well. You can have two different squads in the half track at the same time. It's not one squad per vehicle. So that's quite important to remember if you've got
So in the game, I could deploy two squads in that, and then roll that on, disembark one squad, continue to roll it on, then disembark the other squad.
Yes.
Or could I even use it to evacuate two squads?
Yes.
You can stick in there a number of men. Yeah. However you break down the number of men, it could be 6 squads of 2 guys. It doesn't
really?
matter.
So
It's a number of guys.
It's a troop carrier that 12 men can fit inside. I think that's the easiest way of doing it. It doesn't matter where they come from. We're not limiting people. There's nobody standing at the door telling no, sorry.
This is taken.
Sorry, one man from one unit got on board. I'm sorry, that's all we can take now. So it's
yeah, exactly. So we have 2 separate sprues. One is the main bottom and the top of the chassis.
Yep.
track sections are all in one piece, and it has a number of extras. So we've got the axle, and we've got quite a lot of the fuel tanks and things that they have on the side. A couple of seats on there. The MG34 that goes on there, again, early war machine gun.
Yeah, that's a 34 mil. Sorry,
as in 1934.
Yeah,
1934.
When it enters into service or is designed, you know. Normally, a lot of those names of the weaponry have the year where it's produced as the or you enter service. You know. So an MG34 is a machine gun 1934 model.
Gotcha.
While an MG42.
1942.
Correct.
Apparently, yeah.
You know everything about World War II. Obviously, the second sprue has the top of the chassis. You can see all the rivets already done, already sculpted on there. You've got the wheels. You've got actually seats and benches for inside the back for the guys to sit on. And then some other bits for the side for pouches and for carrying the fuel tanks, the canisters, a few extra helmets. A lot of the kit was left behind by Germans in the thing when they went out to that. So you know you can leave behind the stowage, the rolls, and some helmets behind if you wish. And there's actually a gunner as well to represent the fact that people would be inside this vehicle firing out. So if you want, you can arm the gunner with either a 34 or a 42 if you want to use it later in the war, with his little gun shield.
Oh, so it's a pintle-mounted thing, is it?
Pintle mounted right at the front. Again, it comes with a very simple instruction guide. This one, again, takes you through step by step of how to put bits in, and that is as hard as it gets.
And can you get guys to actually, seated guys to fit in the back? Is there any?
We are working on them as we speak. Wojtek is busily finishing them off, so you can put them in the back, so you can have a nice squad of men
all bunched up, sitting in there, ready to go.
Obviously, that's the one thing about plastic toy soldiers is they're very big, they're larger than life, they stand there in huge dramatic poses. You can't ever change that, you can't convert those down to a tiny guy sitting in a cab, it's just not what it's about. So yeah, we've designed those to go in them as well.
Cool. Cool.
Very good.
Okay, so what else is in the box? And the other name this goes by, is it a Hanomag?
Hanomag is its nickname, yeah.
Can somebody enlighten me into what Hanomag means? Does it mean anything in particular? Or?
I think it's the name of the manufacturer, isn't it?
That sounds like a very plausible one. I think Hans is on a postcard too.
I believe.
Warren at Warren's house.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
well, if you know what a Hanomag is, then stick it in the comments below. So let's see how many other awkward questions I can come up with.
Exactly. So next out of the box are no fewer than 6 sprues this time.
Okay.
All identical. So let's just pick any one of them. These guys are different to the late war Germans that we see in the Assault on Normandy set.
Yes.
These specifically, they come with jack boots is the biggest difference. So these are higher up towards the knee, full leather boots. Later in the war, they decided they didn't need to use all that leather, and they gave them smaller boots. And
or ran out of leather.
Or ran out of leather, yeah.
Would you not have found them then in late war? Like,
could
I have a smattering of these guys in the late war army? Would that annoy somebody? Or?
No, not at all. There were thousands of these things that were decided, because obviously at the start of the war there were millions produced. So as the war got on, it got fewer and fewer, but there wasn't a set time or any way of taking them off and then giving them a pair of shoes. These guys would have looked after them as much as possible. So yeah, absolutely, later in the war they would have done it.
But also, if you're really into that, you can research which units did have them up to what point, and which point it changed for every unit and stuff. So, you know, it's
or you could just
up to you.
Sorry, guys.
I never thought anybody would get bored with Alessio's historical knowledge. This is great. As with all of the sprues, these are the newest plastic sprues. They're from 3D sculpts. You will notice, compared to a lot of the other ones, these have weapons in hand.
Yes, all integrated, yeah.
So there are a lot of hands, obviously, hand sets, so you can put the different weapons, the non-armed handed weapons.
Yeah.
But it allows you, it gives you that little bit more of a tight fit with the gun on the thing. There was some suggestions that people might quite like rifles all the time, so therefore we put the rifles actually in the hands.
In some respects, these models actually look a little bit more detailed. Actually, is that because of the improving manufacturing process and stuff like that? Yeah.
Our sculptor is getting better every day. He's a fantastic guy that's been working on about 15 plastic kits now, so he's obviously getting more detailed. The process of turning the 3 up into a plastic form, the carving through the process that has to go through is obviously better. Yeah. And the guys are getting more skillful. Yeah, and we're working with the engineer, all British manufactured, obviously. We work with them a lot more closely, so they understand what we push their boundaries as well. So they understand what we're trying to achieve. So absolutely, more detailed every time we release a kit.
On this sprue, I see six soldiers.
6 guys this time.
With 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 heads this time. It's got the backpacks with shovels, without shovels, and the potato masher grenades, which the official name was? for a potato?
Stielgrenade.
Stielgrenade.
Hey. I don't really speak German. I'm making it up.
What I really like is there's an ammo belt here that looks like it hangs around somebody's neck.
Correct, yeah. That's exactly how they would have carried them.
Yeah, so let me show you that there. So you've got this ammo belt here, and it's cool. The other thing then is this an arm carrying extra ammunition in a tin?
Yeah, they were carried around in tins, and obviously they would have been layered in the ammo belt, so you could have fed it straight into the machine gun.
So that maybe allows you to make the loader for the light machine gun in the team?
Yeah.
Make a loader model.
Weapons-wise, is that the light machine gun?
It's the MG34, yeah. So it's a lot more cylindrical. And
made in 1934, I hear.
Yeah.
How do you know?
And is there a sniper rifle on this as well?
This one again with the scope, very nice and easy.
And I also see a like a what do you call this? A bipod here.
It's a tripod with only 2 legs.
Yeah, so the bipod. Which weapon is that for?
That's for the 34 as well. So
That's
it's
for the
a
MG34.
very heavy thing. You wouldn't have wanted to stood there firing it.
Yeah.
They could fire it from hip because they're very well trained and huge muscly soldiers. But more often than not, you would want to rest it down somewhere and fire it.
And
you wouldn't be very accurate at firing from the hip.
In game terms, how many dice do you get to roll for that as a German?
3. Well, if you're a German, so everybody else gets 3, but with the German special rules, you get 4.
You get 4. And can I move and shoot that? Can I?
You can.
Yeah.
It loses a little bit of accuracy, obviously, with the -1, but you can move and fire. It's not unwieldable when you're moving.
Yeah.
But a couple of other things spotted on here. It's got 6 men. This time, instead of just the 4 running or standing and firing poses and the 1 kneeling, it actually has 1 guy lying down on his stomach. Again, just to add a little bit of dynamic, a little bit of extra height in your squads. It could be lying in wait with the sniper rifle. It could be lying there firing the MG34. There's all sorts of things you could do. Decided to add a 6th guy on there.
And every good box of army men needs somebody lying down on their stomach.
Lying down.
What else have we got in there?
So, that's 36 guys. That's the leaflet.
Like there's 48 items marked on that sprue alone. So. There's more than 48 items on the sprue. I mean, there's 48 different items on the sprue, and there's multiples of some of those. So
definitely.
Okay.
So very good. That explains you how to put those. So we'll leave the tank till the end.
Yep.
Next up is an early war German 8cm mortar. This is 3 guys.
Okay.
One of which has got a pair of binoculars and he's got his head sculpted on. The other 2 have got heads loose, so you can put them in different poses.
Yeah, and you get the 2 heads here.
And then the actual mortar
and the actual mortar piece itself. So how does that? It just goes together pretty much like that. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
You got it.
Wow.
As you'd expect. So
okay.
Nice and easy. That's a good piece of.
And one of the interesting things about mortars in bolt action is that they have to be ranged in, don't they? So they start out, it's a 6 to hit, and then the next time you shoot it, provided it hasn't moved and it's been shot at the same target, it's a 5 to hit, and then the time after that it's a 4 to hit, and then it's 3.
You adjust your shots to get close to the target, but if you actually do hit, then you just keep firing on the same thing. So you always hit on a 2.
Yeah.
It can be devastating. It's certainly against fixed positions. And
it forces you to move.
The other thing I should say is the mortar can't move, and obviously its target can't move.
Right.
The target
so it forces the target to move if it doesn't want to be.
It doesn't just laser track infantry.
So it's very useful for the likes of anti-tank guns, like the PaK-40s and stuff like that. If you want to try and, because if they move, they can't shoot.
That's right.
Yes.
So and they'll have to balance. Then it's a dilemma that they're put in. Do we stay here and get our shot off, but risk getting blown up by a mortar?
Yeah, there are lots of intriguing bits with the mortar, especially. Next up, we've got the infantry gun. It's a light howitzer. That's actually the size of it. For those of you that don't play historical war games, you might think that's a bit of a puny gun, but
it is a bit of a puny gun.
It is a bit of a puny gun, isn't it? But no, that's actually what it is.
So how does that go together? Is that
just sits in the cradle
like that? Yeah.
Wheel on either side. Gun shield in front. Gun shields form a fairly important part of bolt action gaming.
This kind of
it gives you a lot of added protection for the gunner and the loader. They can crouch down behind it, and instead of it being the normal roll to wound that you would a 3 or 4 or 5 against inexperienced.
And can I model it with or without the gun shield, or?
They would have had it on more often than not, but yeah, absolutely model it however you want.
Yeah, and the rules will take that into account. So if I have a gun shield, it'll take it into account. If I don't have a gun shield, then.
In some guns it does. Some guns give you the option of a gun shield. Some guns will give you not. That's because 99% of them would have
just
it.
Have had it.
So you just have it. So it really depends.
Yeah, it's up to you.
And these guys all come modelled with heads and stuff off the bat.
These are earlier sculpts, and they're of earlier So they have the early uniform and the boots and everything as well.
Yeah.
And obviously some extra ammo.
I love these shiny models. Were you guys polishing these off camera before we brought them on? It's like
high grade tin. What are you talking about? It shines like that. So put those back into the bag. And last, but certainly by no means least, in this beautiful bubble bag, we have
a tank.
A tank.
Right.
So I'll let you fiddle around with that one.
Yep. So we have the hull of the tank here. This is obviously resin, okay?
It is.
There's some really nice details on the tracks. And the tracks are very handily marked left and right, which, believe it or not, I actually do need, because sometimes I really struggle to work out which direction tank tracks go. So let me see. So that's on my left, so that's going there.
Yep.
And that's going on the right. And you can start to get the shape of it there.
And there's a lot of metal components that go on these things that...
Well, that's a big block of metal there. What does that go
goes
onto
on the back of the turret.
Like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a stowage container, holds all sorts of bits and pieces. You have like mud guards, you have hatches, you have the gun itself that sits on the front of the turret.
Yeah. So mud guards probably on them back mud plates,
right.
yeah.
Again, allows us to, again, it's a highly detailed resin kit, so you have to try and make it simple as possible to get the detail to come out every time. So there's a few of the items in metal. You've even got towing cleats if you want to use them. This is, for those of you that don't know or have never met Paul Sawyer, is a fair obsession that he is convinced that every tank in the entire war has towing cleats complete and all the time. So to allow you, tanks obviously dragged each other out of ditches, or they towed anti-tank weapons everywhere. They fulfilled a lot of roles. So towing cleats to the front and the back if you wish. A grab rail as well to go on. So allows you
now, where would a grab rail go? What's you just put that on anywhere, or
on the back, or I'm sure there's an exact science.
Yeah, and is that the weapon?
That is the weapon. It's a howitzer rather than an anti-tank gun. This is earlier in the war.
So it's not a tank with a big anti-tank gun. It's a tank with a big-ass machine gun.
It's designed. No, it's not a machine gun.
No,
it's a howitzer.
What is a howitzer then?
It's a bit like that, and the infantry gun you've seen before.
Yeah.
So it fires high explosive rounds.
Right.
Mostly, which are basically designed to engage soft targets.
And does it fire one at a time, or does it fire a barrage of them?
No, it's just one shot.
Yeah, so it's high explosive rounds. So this is,
fire.
As tanks go, this is an anti-infantry tank then, yeah?
Anti-infantry, you can fire it anti-tank guns, other howitzers, any soft target, or a light vehicle.
Yeah.
Even an armored car or a truck or jeep like that will not like to be shot with that.
And what's the designation of the tank? What's the name of it?
It's a Panzer IV Ausf D.
Panzer IV Ausf D. Did any of them make it to later in the war, did they?
The Panzer IV was the mainstay of the German army for a while. It only really got superseded by the Panther, and even then the Panzer IV was still produced a hell of a lot.
Yeah. Because I'm always looking at this from the point of view of flexibility.
Exactly.
That if I go and buy this box, and my mate wants to play maybe something a bit more late war, in my collection, would he get a run out if I was trying to play something from a bit later in the war? Or?
Well, just by replacing the gun with a later version where actually it was armed with anti-tank weapons of longer calibers, bigger calibers, longer barrels, so you get a lot more anti-tank use of it. By changing the gun and adding a few more detail, then you would upgrade the Panzer IV to a later version of the Panzer IV.
Yeah.
You got to remember again, this is a Blitzkrieg set, so it's early war.
Yes, it is early war.
This is actually one of the most powerful tanks in the early war.
Absolutely. Really?
It puts a lot of the other nations' tanks to shame, which is why they were able to roll over a lot of the.
Are there any more early war sets for any of the other armies yet?
This is the first one for early war.
Yeah.
There almost certainly will. We're expanding into other theatres at all periods through the war. So yeah, more to come. Watch this space.
Happy days. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that.
Welcome back. So yeah, as you've seen, we've got the Blitzkrieg box. That's got quite a stack of sprues. Not quite Warhound 15, but it's not a bad set. Nice mix of weapons. You've got obviously the tank in there. Early war, so it's a punier weapon.
Well, back then it wasn't designed for armoured warfare. Start of the war, people didn't know exactly what was going on. I can still remember a few documentaries.
How old are you?
Oi! Behave! Anyway, I remember a documentary I was watching.
Right.
Okay. Yes.
In the telly box.
Yes, in the Magic Moving telly box.
Yeah.
Don't take a picture. You're going to try and steal my soul again, aren't you? Anyway, no, it was explaining how the armies of the day didn't understand exactly how useful tanks could be at the beginning of World War II.
Yeah.
You know, really interesting. I can't remember the name of it. Let's move on.
Okay.
Right, guys. We have a prize up for grabs. It is the Blitzkrieg box. So if you want a 1,000 point early war bolt action army, put your comments.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. Well, put your comments below on Beasts of War or YouTube, and you'll be announced in the Weekender. This is one thing that annoys me. If you're wanting to know who wins prizes, watch the Weekender. That's where we announce them. Okay, guys? Anyway, we'll move on. Time for me and Gavin, other Gavin, to have a look at the Orcnar starter set for Relics. So guys, I'm back with Gavin. Right, let's have a look at the other starter set. We have to hand the Orcnar.
The Orcnar.
Now, we actually played a demo game of these earlier, and the Orcnar themselves are quite brutal when it comes to combat.
Yeah, they are. They're your standard sort of get in there and...
Yeah, your bashy guys.
Yeah, hit things really.
Quick look at the back. So who do we have here? So this guy is?
That's an unman. They come in units of, well, you get 3 in the starter set.
Yeah.
Then you've got the Neowan in the centre, he's your commander. And then you've got the Docker on the end, who are fast moving.
Yeah, the Docker, when we were playing, were quite brutal. So let's crack this open. Yep. Bloody hell, you stuck this one well together, man.
Yeah.
It's lucky some youngster from the hobby didn't get his hands on it, because it would just be a case of, but I can't get my minis out. So let's get everything out of the box. So we have all our bases. And there. So you get bases for everybody. I'll put this out the way. So if you want to take those, clear them out of their bags, ready to be shown, and I will grab our single piece mini. I always like it when there's at least one single piece mini in these, because it gives you something you can quickly just get out, get on a base, and start painting up to see, test out how you want to paint the faction. Although, one question, why does he appear to have a gigantic brain?
That's actually sort of stony, rocky growth things. Remind you of the, do you remember the old T-Fowl?
T-Fowl.
T-Fowl adverts with the men with the big foreheads, scientists with white coats on.
I don't remember, sorry. Possibly before my time.
Google T-Fowl man.
Okay. Okay, well, there we have him under close camera, and as with every commander through history, he has to point and say, "They're over there, go get them." So what does he do for you in the game?
He's pretty much a bog standard commander. He's very cheap. He's only 8 points.
Yeah.
His main job is to either extend the command range of your other commanders, or just to leave close to a unit that's going out on the flank just to keep them moving.
Okay. Okay, so the unit that you would be using for that is these boys. So should I pass them in? So how many sculpts of these do we get in the pack?
3.
3 different sculpts?
Yeah.
So we have our first guy, our second guy. These are actually really nice, man. Again, with the smaller rocket protrusions on the back.
Yeah.
And our last guy. So these guys are your basic bog standard line troops, you know, that are going to run into melee.
Yeah, they're your sort of standard basic troops that you, like you say, get them stuck in and do what they need to do.
Yeah, jump in and...
They're sort of nothing specialist about them. They get in, roll dice and kill things.
Yeah, but even with some of the rules that you have in Relics, because the game we played, these guys, when they were coming in on the charge... right, for anybody that doesn't play Relics yet, whenever you're trying to do your attacks, what you're looking for to actually hit and wound is doubles. So you don't have a set dice score, you're just trying to get doubles on X number of dice, which completely changes the bell curve.
Absolutely, yeah.
So instead of it just going, okay, here's your options, this thing's all over the place.
Yeah, it does sort of, first time people play it, they tend to sort of step back and think, I can't work out the...
Yeah, I mean, sure, even I tried to do it and I got it completely wrong.
Yeah, so it makes for a fun side to that.
Yeah, well, you see, it completely changes the dynamic of it, because so many people out there are metagamers.
Yes.
You know, who will go, okay, if I need a 5+ on a D6, that's 1 and 3.
Yep.
You know, and then from that they can work out statistics over an entire game.
Yep.
To know before they set their stuff on the table pretty much how everything's going to act and react against everything else. There's a lot more randomness to it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the obviously everybody knows to get a double on 2d6 is a 1 in 6 chance. Because you're not worried about what the first dice roll or die roll result is. You just need to match it.
Yeah.
But when you start going up to sort of 4 or 5 dice, and each time a double's rolled, it's taken out of the pool. You know, it kind of general sort of off the top of the head.
Yeah,
mathematics goes out the window.
Yeah, so it's just like maths. What? But no, these guys look really nice. They're really, really cleanly cast, man.
Yeah, our casters are pretty awesome, really.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the thing I noticed. You were saying earlier when we were having a chat, each mold that you guys make would sort of have its own sort of little character to it.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Depending on how quickly you need to pour the metal, or how hot the metal needs to be, or how the vents run.
Yeah. So it's a bit of an art form. Really.
Well, I mean, anybody that has been watching Beast of War for a long time will know we went to visit Cerberus a good couple of years ago now. We all got to run a cast out. I screwed up every last miniature on my run. No, I poured it thinking, okay, this is how easy is this? This is simple. I'm going to have beautiful minis coming out of this. Every last one wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last thing we have is the two puppies.
The 2 dockers, yeah.
Yeah. So, are these related to the Orcnar in any way, or are they just pets?
No, they are related. The Orcnar in the pre-game history were actually tall, blonde, blue-eyed.
Okay.
You know, humans basically.
Yeah.
And then when through the history goes, and the Vaetier set off this spell to try and kill off all the Britannans, who were also humans. The Orcnar took a brunt of it, and their genetic makeup was changed, so they're now all mutations, which is why they've all got claws and stuff, and you get sort of subspecies in them now. So you get like the Docker, which are a subspecies, and they've mutated far beyond what like the Unman have and stuff like that.
Yeah. So basically, you'll have one who's mutated to be the leader.
Yes.
One has mutated to be your line trooper.
Yep, absolutely.
One has mutated to be the puppies.
Yep.
And then I've seen 1 or 2 of them which are rather big dudes, which we actually have painted versions of. So let's slide these out of the way, and we'll have a look at a couple of the painted ones, because we have quite a few of the painted ones for these. So which one is this guy?
That's an Earton Rifon. There's 2 varieties of Earton, and you can tell the difference by the arms they've got. That one's a Rifon.
Right.
The other one's a Biffian. He's got sort of balls, stony.
Oh yeah,
growths on these.
So he's holding a big ball of rock essentially.
Yeah, and they have slightly different rules in the game. So the guy you got there is more of a straightforward brute, will run in there and smash things, whereas the Biffian can do a sort of a kind of ranged attack that knocks units over.
Ah, right.
So it's got a bit more tactics with him. You know, not so much of just get in there, but
yeah. Well, I mean, like it's what I've noticed, because the game we played was the Britannians versus the Orcnar.
Yeah.
Now, start of the game, you offered me, right, which faction would you like?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take the Britannians. Are you sure? Yeah. Got hammered. You know, because the Orcnar did just run in and go, smashy, smashy. And my Britannians went, no, our stuffing, it's falling out everywhere. But no, it was a good fun game. And then game 2, we actually did switch it about. And I had the Orcnar. My tactics being what they are, I can't roll for toffee, as you can now attest to.
Yes, without a doubt.
You know, because I was rolling dice pools of 4 looking for doubles.
Yep.
Nope. And you're just sitting there going, how is this mathematically possible? Yeah. You know, the dice gods must have cursed this man at birth.
I think you were, actually.
Right, well, anyway, guys, that's the Orcnar starter. Stay tuned. We're going to be getting more Relics content up on the site, because it's a nice little game. A lot of people down here in TTN are starting to, play and have a closer look at it. I know James from downstairs is severely looking at the Britannians, which are unfortunately not sitting in the shop at the minute, but I'm sure as soon as they come in, he's just going to go,
snap, I love that.
Mine, shut up and take my money. Right, anyway, guys, we'll move on here. Hopefully we'll get another look at the other couple of factions that there are, and we'll see you again soon. Okay, guys, we have time for one more unboxing here. I think a little Toha might be in order. So who do we have? Gao-Tarsos?
Gao-Tarsos.
Gao-Tarsos.
Well, there is no incorrect way to say this. This is alien name.
Yeah.
So no one in the world will complain about how you say it.
Yeah. Very cool guy. Very dynamic pose on him.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's crack open the blister. Ooh.
This miniature was sculpted by José Luis Roig, one of the best Infinity sculptors, in my opinion, a world-class sculptor completely.
So I assume he's your favorite of the sculptors, perhaps?
Yes, and also a sculptor that you can always trust that he will pull out a great miniature out of everything.
Yeah, right, well, we have the main body. He's standing on one leg, but I think a lot of painters would like that because it lets them get into all the inner leg details a lot easier when they're painting it in parts.
Especially with these miniatures. I mean, José Luis is making an incredible work with the texture of the Scene Beyond armor that these miniatures have.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. And is he traditional sculpt?
Yes.
So another traditional sculpt. Oh, we have lots of little fins. Does this mean he's a jump trooper?
Yes, he's a paratrooper from the Toha army, and that means that he will have a special backpack that allows him to, land on the table wherever he wants.
So we'll just pull off a little bit of flash.
Yes.
So we have more landing plates.
Those are part of the protective plates for the legs and the crotch.
Yeah. We have his little head with the tiny fins at the back.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. His weapon, what's this guy armed with?
That is a combi rifle, a standard normal rifle for all the troops.
Yeah, so this is the Toha variant of the combi rifle.
Yes.
If I can get it under close camera. There we go. I really did love. I fell in love with the design of the weaponry for the Toha from the minute I saw them. It was just so different to everything else. It just felt so organic.
Yes, especially the close combat weapons that look like elvish weapons. They have that feel to it. To them.
Yeah, we have the other leg and the other arm with a tiny, tiny little pistol.
Yes, this time when José Luis was sculpting the faction, he decided to make both pistols for being stick in the leg, pistols in their
the holster.
Holster.
Yep.
He made the right version and the left version, and then the pistol with no holster. He has made all the weapons by hand for all the armies until now that we are beginning to make 3D weapons. But he made a cool effort there because having all the options and the separate weapon allows him to make miniatures, with, without, holding the weapon. He can make that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
And many factions at the beginning didn't have the unholded weapon and the left version of the pistol and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I remember whenever I picked up my Yujing, I liked the fact that it already had the pistol just on the leg, on a holster, ready to go. It wasn't just, okay, I need to find this tiny, tiny little piece and glue it on, just to have a pistol on him, But we also have some of the studio painted Toha sitting.
Yes, and they can very useful right now in order to make you see all the detail that these kind of miniatures have.
Yeah, well, at the minute it's sitting under the close camera in white metal.
Okay.
I'll pull that out the way.
This is like a younger brother of the Gao-Tarsos. This is a Sakiel. It's the most recent Sakiel miniature, Sakiel with the Spitfire. If we take a look at this, we can see that all the orange part is the symbiote armor, which is like a membrane that they have above their skin that protects them and gives them slightly little more power.
Yeah.
And if you could look at this, you will see all the tiny, tiny texture that José Luis did. Put all his time and efforts in order to sculpt. Apart from the lots of tiny details that the Toha miniatures usually have.
Yeah, but even just getting that detail onto the range of miniatures and keeping it constant through the range, that must be such a challenge for a sculptor.
Well,
I'm very impressed.
It supposes time from the sculptor. And José Luis Roig's time is, special. I mean, he's one of the best sculptors of the Infinity range.
Yeah, and he has sculpted the entire range, yes?
All the Toha are made by José Luis, except the recent Chaxas, which have been made using 3D by Javier Ureña. Yeah, but he made an excellent job with them, and people is very happy with the Toha range. What people is asking for is more power for this army, because the miniatures are beautiful.
Yeah, and I assume, is this the Chaxus here?
Yes, the Chaxa are an exalted species by the Toha. The Toha in the fluff, you can read that they, every time they find alien species in their exploration of the universe, they can exalt their intelligence and their skills in order to collaborate with them.
Yeah, so basically they make them into a better version of themselves?
Yes, and also make them obey to them. So they have, you can look at the bright side or the dark side. They are making this species better and also maybe puppeteering them.
Binding them to the Toha will, as it were. But no, even these have brilliant detail. Is this the same sculptor?
3D, yes, by Javier Ureña.
Right, so this is computer sculpted.
Yes.
Again, it's really, really nice, and I love the big ammo belts and stuff coming up around them. They're so pretty.
Yes, and all these ammo chains are cast with the shape to fit into the miniature.
All right,
people
so they're
won't
already
have
shaped?
to bend in by themselves. They're already shaped.
Yeah.
Because when we have made straight ammo belts, people have to bend it and sometimes they break. So now we're doing.
Yeah, the one to remember is the Dragos, if I remember correctly.
Yes. I saw the other day one guy who had it correctly done. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, no. I remember Andy was trying back whenever we did the unboxing for it, and I don't know why he couldn't just seem to figure it out, but. All I had to do, if you actually get one of these guys and you're trying to do it, all you have to do, you see that part of your finger there, take it, pinch it between your thumb and just roll it very slowly around it until it's got the curve in it. Then just twist and pull it to shape and it should go fine.
Another trick is to put a wire in the inner face of the ammo chain.
Yeah.
So it will give an extra strength when bending it.
Yes. Yeah, very clever indeed. I hadn't thought of that. I actually also saw a company...
Neither me, the sculptors told me that.
Yeah, there was one other thing I saw at Salute this year. There was a company doing little aftermarket parts, which were ammo belts. So it was like a rubber sort of resin with a wire cast through it.
Flexible stuff that won't break, yes.
Yeah, so it was just a little aftermarket modification that you could pick up, and if you were having trouble with it and you thought you maybe wouldn't be able to do it, something like that would just make it so much easier. You know, it was a really clever idea.
Yes.
But, actually, who's this guy?
This is the Hathail Spec Op. This is the Spec Op for the Toha army. It comes with an extra weapon sprue and an alternative head with a hood, I remember.
Yeah, he's actually really, really cool. Does he have the symbiotic armor as well? Because he looks so different.
No, this one has not the symbiote armor. I cannot remember right now if he can buy it with the experience points. I don't remember right now.
Yeah, but no, such pretty minis, Carlos.
Yes, once again, Jose Luis Roch. He pulls out incredible miniatures. Even if the concept design is not over the top, he makes a great miniature.
Yeah, well, as always, guys, Infinity, it blows me away. Right, well, we'll move on here. Hopefully we'll see you again at some point, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
So that was the Gao-Tarsos for
Toha. Yeah, really nice little mini. I'm amazed at the detail they sculpt into those.
Yeah, I mean, they keep on, raising the bar each time.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable.
Well, if anybody watching this today, there's also a post on the homepage of the bootleg series. Oh my god!
Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm currently in arguments with myself and the fiance as to which one to get for myself, because I'm picking up one at least, but I think she's wanting one too. I think she wants the Tikulis.
Oh, okay. She doesn't want the Scarface one?
No, she doesn't want the Scarface one.
Ah, fair enough.
Yeah, whereas me, I want the Oyuri. It's just that seeing the tag open and seeing all the internal workings.
Plus, technically, if you were Deb Ham with conversion, you could mount that into the actual Oyuri itself and actually have it as a model on the battlefield.
Yeah, so actually have the upper torso from the Oyuri took off and put that one on. And if you're clever with your magnetism and stuff, you could have it that you could switch it out.
Yeah, and it'd be awesome.
It would look incredibly cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, that's it for What's in the Box this week. Make sure and check out the bootleg post. It's probably down that away. I'll put a link in the show notes.
Don't forget the competition.
Yeah, don't forget, if you want to win a 1,000 point bolt action army for the Germans, just post below.
Good.